So, welcome back, warriors. I am so excited today. I have such a beautiful soul here with us on the Lightkeeper's Path, Shabana Knight. First of all, what a gorgeous name, right? If I was at a wedding and they said, "We just want to welcome you to Mr. and Mrs. Knight," I would be like, "I found my knight in shining armor." Yeah, right? Woohoo. And
So
if you're
true.
watching on YouTube, you see that big, beautiful smile with those big golden eyes that she's got right here. I'm so excited to have you on here with us. I met Shabana back in April 2025. Well, we didn't personally meet, but I met her at a Kathy Heller retreat in Los Angeles. It was such a beautiful retreat. And she had such a beautiful story, and she was so courageous to raise her hand up and tell her story and share, which I'm going to ask her to share here today. But just a little bio before we, you know, deep dive into her amazing, amazing story. Is Shabana is a wife and mother to three teenagers. Okay, you need a trophy right now, based in the Pacific Northwest, and the voice behind the podcast Organized Chaos Stories with Shabana, which is amazing. Everybody has to subscribe and give a listen to that. After years as a personal trainer, her passion evolved into cleaning and organizing, helping women declutter their space while discovering that order, both physical and emotional, can create space for healing, growth, and manifestation. I can chime in on that one big time. So when we get to that, I will be chiming in on how that helped with my health journey. But let's start first. And I would like to thank Shabana for coming on. She's authentic, she's real, she's relatable, she's pure love. And I want to just start with your story of growing up and how you came to the United States, and disclose what feels real right now. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. I just want to say that first off, what a beautiful introduction. This is such an honor to be in this space with you and for with all your listeners. All right, well, let's start from the beginning. My story goes that I was the age of 2 and my brother was the age of 4. And at the time, we are in India and we get separated from our parents at a busy train station. And a police officer finds us and he gathers that we don't have a guardian with us. And he like looks for our guardian and can't find anyone. And then he um, gives us over to an orphanage. And then we're in an orphanage for about a year and a half. And then eventually we get adopted out. And then we grew up on the East Coast in the same family. And then life continues. And then eventually I end up going to school in Texas and then meeting my husband. And now I live in Washington State. And we've been married for well, no, we've been married for 18 years. And now we have 3 teenagers. And life just keeps going.
Wow, that is absolutely amazing. What age? Okay, so what age were you 3.5 when you were adopted?
Yeah. So we 3.5, and he was 5. So,
And that was on the East Coast.
so we grew up in Baltimore, Maryland.
Oh, Baltimore, Maryland. Wow, that is quite different than India. Oh my goodness.
Mhm. Very different.
That is so beautiful.
Night
And
and day.
when did you leave Maryland to go to Texas? Were you 18 for college?
I was like it was like 18 or 19 because
Mhm.
I repeated first grade because of just needing to
Life.
relearn the like,
Ev-
yes, everything. Because of that, so I graduated high school when I was 18 and then did like a year of community college and like realized that it just wasn't for me. So the school that I went to down in Texas was like a youth ministry type
Mm.
program.
Mhm.
So I was in Texas for like 2 years and then did another like youth ministry program up in Minnesota for a year. And David was still in Texas. And so we had like a long distance relationship
So
for
where
like
did
a
you meet? I'm sorry, maybe I
um,
missed.
it's okay. It was a youth ministry down in Texas.
That's where you met your husband?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Beautiful.
Yeah. And we just even us, we have just like this crazy story because I had like many like relationships before I got married
Mhm.
and he had no relationships. He grew up in a very conservative Christian household,
Yeah.
and I was, like, the first person he ever dated.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
and
No pressure
so
there.
yeah, no pressure there, and then to add, like, icing to the cake, we were very, I would say, very religious at the time,
Mhm.
um, and he just felt really, um, I don't know, convicted or whatever that we weren't gonna do anything until our wedding day. So
Oh,
the first
yeah.
time we held hands or did anything was
Oh,
was at the altar. And so it was very, I mean, it was great and I wouldn't recommend it to anyone, but it was it was what it was. And
which part? Which part wouldn't you recommend?
I think you should definitely have physical touch before
You
you're
didn't
married.
so wait, let's just back up for a minute here. You did not hold hands.
We didn't do anything. Yeah, correct. It literally was the first time we held hands, whereas on our wedding day, along with everything else, which was glorious, but yeah,
That's wild.
yeah.
Wow. That's amazing.
So, lots of self-control.
Yeah, a lot of self-control. Now he grew up in the Pacific Northwest?
Yeah, he's from this area,
He's from
correct.
this area, and is
Mhm.
he of Indian descent?
He is not.
Okay.
He's white, he's German.
Wow. That is,
Yeah,
like, wild. That's
yeah.
interesting because that's almost kinda like Indian culture a little bit, right? Maybe?
Well, typically, Indians marry Indian kinda thing, so.
Right, but do you have touch before you get married?
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've
Well, it's
I
more like arranged marriages and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah, I've never
Um
I've never heard the absolute, like, not even holding hands thing.
Yeah, there was this, like at the time, there was, like, this big book called from Joshua Harris, I Kissed Dating Goodbye. It was
Oh.
all about, like, courtship and, like, when you're with this person, you're dating this person to get married, and there was a lot about, like, abstinence and purity and, like, all of that
Oh.
stuff,
Okay.
and like, the culture we were in at the time was very, like, to the extreme. Um it was just, but, I mean, it helped us, like, obviously focus on our relationship and, like, planning for our wedding and, like, things like that, but it's interesting now that, my middle son has a girlfriend, and, like, it's just, like, we're just always talking about stuff, and we're like, "Alright, well, we're here for you," you know?
Yeah.
So,
Oh my gosh, that's so different. Wow. So now did you graduate and get some type of certificate or degree
um,
from the Texas school, or
yeah, so it was like a, what was it called? Oh my gosh, I can't even.
did you say ministry school, or
Yes. I wanna it wasn't like a BA, it was just like a it was like a Bible admission type college type of thing. So I had the option after I was done with that program to go overseas for like a
Oh.
year and a half,
Uh-huh.
but I remember that, like, God and spirit was like, "It's gonna be harder being married than going overseas," and I kinda just, like, chuckled at that, but I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, no, it actually is a lot harder being married than going to do missionary work." So, we've just had such an interesting relationship and marriage and stuff. Now it's a lot better, but the first, I don't even know, like, years from 4 to 7 were so challenging, and it was
Mm,
to the point where it's like, "Do we divorce? Do
mm,
we not?" And now our faith and what we believe on in is so different,
mm,
um and he's completely done his own thing now, which is fine, but I feel like our relationship now is so much stronger
mm.
and healthier and better than what it was 22 years ago. So
Did you
it's so interesting.
Yeah, did you also have those first 4 to 6 years little kids, little children?
Yeah. And
That's
that was the other thing, like, we
Yeah,
literally, like, got married, and then, like, 3 months later,
pregnant.
I was pregnant. And so we never had, like, really good time together.
Right.
I always when people are like, "Oh, we're getting married," I'm like, "Oh, here's a box of condom, here, Costco size." Like, I'm like, "Please don't get pregnant the first year." Like, you need that first year to be with your person. Don't add extra things.
Yeah,
Don't do it. I mean,
right.
obviously to each their own, but learn from my mistake. So, I
Well,
mean, I love my kids and
yeah,
it was so challenging. It
so
was
challenging, especially if I don't know if you had family to help you. Yeah, a lot of people don't
yeah.
anymore. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Even if they live by, for some reason, they're like, "I'm not a babysitter." It's like, "Oh, please."
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was interesting, again, so since we're in Washington State and all my family's on the East Coast,
Right.
they were there, on the phone, as much as they could. It's not the same, and then his family lives about 45 minutes away, and they were helpful to a point, but, it's only so much,
Yeah.
and I was, still new, so I was still getting to know them, so
Ah,
there's all these weird dynamics. It's not like we grew up and, we knew I knew their family,
yeah.
there's so much that goes into it, but
Yeah.
now I'm so proud of David and I that we, stuck together through
Mm.
the hard time. I'm so proud of our kids, and, it's just amazing what you can do when you just let go of control and anxiety and you surrender and you're just like, "Okay, am I doing this or am I not doing this?" And you have to just make those hard choices, and you choose to walk in love and just, "Okay, what's gonna happen? What's best for me? What's best for my kids?" And I'm thankful it's worked out the way it has.
Yeah.
So,
It seems like you've
right.
done the work and your husband David has as well.
Yeah.
It seems
I
like it's a
think
two-part.
yeah,
Just I don't know anything about your husband, I haven't met him, but
yeah.
I don't know, just the way you're talking, I'm just kinda picking up that you may have started, but he's been in tandem, and it may be his own style, but you're tandemly doing the work. Maybe at a year 6 or 7. Is that
Yeah.
right?
I think what it came down to is I finally let go and almost in my brain divorced the idea of him being a certain way
Mm,
in our marriage,
yeah.
that he would be this amazing Christian, go to church with me type guy. And I let go of those expectations. And I allowed myself just to really work on myself,
Mm,
work on my needs, and being the best mom and wife I could be. And eventually, everything, we just keep mirroring each other,
mm.
and so, the more I work on myself, the more it gives him space to figure out his stuff, and he's not necessarily in, the this type of world with personal development and growth and stuff like that, but he has come to a point through, therapy and stuff like that, of his own self-love and acceptance
Mm.
and pulling away from the way he was grown up and, those teachings and things that no longer serve him,
Yeah,
but in a different way,
yeah.
and, it really is this beautiful orchestration of just finding, our way back to ourselves, our home, and what we believe in, and just loving ourselves and being able to work together, but just a different, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you kind of I was curious because I was listening and your podcast is great, by the way. I love all your different
You're
little
so sweet.
snippets and great
Yeah.
interviews. But you started doing kind of maybe it was in that 4 to 6 year time frame because you talk about sound bowls, you talk about Reiki, you talk about, all kinds of self-care.
Yeah.
Was it that 4 to 6 years that you're like, and that's what got you in that direction? And then let's see, that would be about 12 years ago, is that right? Was that, like, about 2013 that you started this work? Or was it a
Um,
little later? Because you were ahead of the time, if so.
I would say it was a little bit later, but I would say it's just like everything, it's changed and evolved. So, my youngest was born in 2013,
Mhm,
and then it was is that right? Yeah. It was during that time where David just kinda fell into, kinda like this deep depression where he, just didn't love himself anymore,
mhm,
and he was just super stressed out, and he's like, "I can barely afford having a family. I don't know how we're gonna have another kid." He
mm,
was just so stressed out that he just wanted out of the relationship.
mhm,
And so I was like, "All right, let's figure out all of our options. I'm here to love and support you however that might look like." And then we ended up choosing to stay together. And then it was during that year that I had a mutual friend and she's like, "Oh, your husband needs a better job. Oh, my husband works for this company. He should just apply here." And he did with the guy's, like, reference as the name or whatever, and
Mhm.
David ends up getting this job. It's, like, this great job. To this day, he's still there. He just had his 12-year, like, anniversary at this job. It was the job that allowed us to qualify to buy a house.
Oh,
It was the
wow.
job that's propelled us forward as a family. It's so there was that season right there where I
Mhm.
just clung to everything I knew and, like, believed in and my faith and, like, what I stood for and everything, and I allowed him to have his process, I allowed me to have my process,
So beautiful.
and it was that season where I think a lot of people, like, think this is, like, horrible or whatever, but there was that 2-year period where David, because he didn't love himself, he wasn't able to say, "I love you" to me, and that was, like, the most, like, painful 2 years, but I knew that eventually he would get to the point well, I hoped or whatever, that he would get to that point where he would be able to say, "I love you" back and mean it, but the
Mm.
thing about David is he's such an honest, loyal person that he wouldn't lie to me, so it's like he needs to love himself before he could say it back to other people, and so it like, all this stuff happens, and then we finally move into the house that we're still in right now, and then it's our first Christmas in this house, and he's like, "Okay, it's time to, like, upgrade your wedding ring. I love
Oh.
you," and, like, everything
Oh.
just gets better and better and better, and he, like, finally was able to love himself and, like, feel the feels. So I'm like, "This was worth the wait."
My
Like,
heart
it
is
really is.
melting. God, you're amazing. You really, really are. I mean, I've got happy tears here. I'm gonna stop because I have some more questions for you. I mean, stop the happy tears.
Yes,
Like,
it's
wow, this is really like we're now this will come out after Valentine's, but this is like a
Thank
Hallmark.
you.
This is a Hallmark movie right here. I'm not kidding you. This is amazing. Seriously, that is wow, that's so beautiful. What a gorgeous story. Well, you
Yeah.
also you're a trainer. So
Mhm.
maybe you can talk a little bit about your training, how you got into that because I'm seeing a golden thread going on here and I'm going to string them all together at the end. But keep
Absolutely.
yeah,
Oh my
tell me.
gosh. So this is another, like, one of those crazy stories that I love sharing with people, but I feel like I don't share enough. So, when I was in high school, I went down the path of, I've always loved working with children. I was like, started babysitting at the age of 12, always worked in the church nursery, always been around kids. So in high school, I went down the track of I wanted to be a kindergarten teacher. And then my first year of college, I was like, oh, I'm going to get my teaching degree. And then it was like, this is too much. Like, I can't handle this college thing. This is too much. So after we got married and had kids, I went straight into working at daycares and things like that. And I did that for years so I could bring my kids with me and just be like teachers' assistants and stuff like that. And it was good. And so I'm at the last daycare that I was at before we had moved into this house. And it was like 45 minutes away. But I'm at this daycare and a coworker says, Shabana, you're really healthy. Can you help me lose my baby weight? And I
Oh,
said, sure, absolutely.
wow.
And so, with just encouraging her and loving her, I helped her release 40 pounds of weight.
Oh my gosh. How long did it take?
It was like probably like, I want to say like 4 to 6 months.
Yes.
It was
4
a
to 6
healthy
months. That's
amount.
perfect. Mhm.
Um, and I just had this realization. I was like, "Oh my gosh, if I can just do this by encouraging, like, how much more can I help people if I actually become a personal trainer?" And that
Right.
was like that opened my eyes because I've always had the gift of encouraging people and loving them. Like, it
Yeah.
just comes naturally, and then to add the 2 together. So then we move into this house. I end up getting a daycare job right away, and I'm miserable. It's like the worst daycare job ever.
Yeah.
And I tell David, I was like, "I gotta find another job." And he's like, "Yeah, because we need to make our, like, everything our bills work." I'm like, "Okay, cool." So, I'm driving to the grocery store, like, the first month we're here, and I see this gym. It's like this small hole in the wall gym. So I pull in, I have my resumes in my car, and I jump out, and I walk in, and I'm saying, "Hey, I wanna be a personal trainer. Are you hiring?" And the guy's like, no, but you can give me your resume." I was like, "Okay, great." So I give him my resume, and, the next day, the boss calls me, and he's like, "I see you have lots of childcare experience. You can start in our come in for an interview. And if it works out, you can start in our kids club, get certified, and then you can be in the kids club and watch like it's the daycare at the gym and bring your kids with you for free. Get a free gym membership. You're the only teacher, and you can also get certified as trainer and then be on the floor. And I remember going to the interview when I was still working at the other daycare job, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, if this works out, I'm quitting this job because I'm miserable here." And it was less hours, but better
Oh
pay,
my
and
gosh.
the kids, like, it all literally just fell into my lap, and I was there for, like, 5 or 6 years, and then it closed, and then a couple months later, like, COVID happened.
Mm.
So and then after that and things started reopening, I was, like, in a really dark season, and I was just like, "I'm miserable, and I need to start working out again." And literally that week, I got 2 phone calls from previous personal trainers from that small gym and was like, "Hey, will you come be a trainer at my gym?" And so I went to both places, and the one I liked, I ended up being there for 3 years. And
Wow.
I've also done, like, online stuff too. So
That's amazing.
it's wild, but I love it. And I still my heart is still there
Mhm.
if that falls into my lap again kinda thing, so
You know, it doesn't it just go back to really you always hear, "Do what you love, what brings you joy, and things will come to you," and you just
yeah,
affirmed all of that. I mean, people say, "Do what you love," and look at that. You are so in flow. I
yeah,
mean, you made it all happen, and there's, like it's amazing.
yeah,
Wow, that is amazing. Because when you're doing what you love and what brings you joy, and you keep talking, going back to love, your heart is open and things do come to you and they are perfect and they are better than you absolutely can imagine, right? I mean, it's so
yes.
amazing. So then let's see, then you have your organizing business. Talk about that.
That's, like, another, like, "Oh my gosh, this is awesome."
Yeah.
Um,
I love that.
it's
Oh my God, this is awesome.
yeah, ah, it's just another, like, amazing thing. So this one was one of okay, so David is the oldest of 6 boys.
Oh,
So
wow.
he was, like, the first to get married, the first to have a kid, the first
Yeah.
of everything.
Yeah.
And then so which I don't even remember. I think it was the brother right under him was getting married, and so I was at the in-laws' house, and I was, like, trying to get ready, and, I was like, "I gotta leave. There's, like, so much stuff everywhere. I, like, cannot get organized." And so the mother-in-law is like, "Oh, what's wrong? Like, where are you going?" kinda thing, and I was like, "I can't get ready here. There's too much stuff here." And so I left, and then it kinda, like, woke up in her like, "Oh, I didn't realize there's, like, no space," or whatever, and so, just with that, she just ended up taking the next couple years to really, like, declutter her whole house, and she was
Mhm.
almost kind of like my first project, and I helped her
Mm.
a few times at her house,
Mhm.
um, to organize her space and stuff like that, but and then I realized just how much I loved it, and it kinda branched off out of that, but another way that it kinda came up there was that incident, and then there was this other time where I wanted to go to, like, a leadership conference, but I didn't have the finances, but they're like, "Oh, schedule a call with us, and we'll help you, like, figure out how to make the money," or whatever. And so I had a call with somebody, and they're like, "Alright, set a timer for 7 minutes, write down all the ways that people make money, and then when the timer is done, go back to your list, cross off all the things that you won't be able to do in the next 3 months." I was like, become a lawyer, cross crazy stuff off, and then go back and look at what the theme was, and the theme was cleaning, organizing, decluttering, and now go reach out to 5 people and ask them if they want your help, and, because of that, I did that, and I ended up making, like, at least half, if not more, money to go to do this conference,
Wow.
and then I was like, "Oh, I totally have this gifting." I didn't realize that I literally have been doing this all my life, and I love it. Like, there's so much that I know for me, when I have a clear space, I can think clearer,
Mm.
the thoughts just flow, there's just better energy that just everything, and I love offering that to people
Yeah.
because you really help them get out of stress, fear, and overwhelm when you're able to help them clear their space. Like, it's
So,
magic.
so true. I've worked with, well, one organizer.
Mhm.
I'm trying to think. Oh, gosh. Wow. I guess I have for quite some time when I think about it, because that was like in 2010, I think. Yeah. When I was living in Southern
Wow.
California. I forgot about that. Yeah. I worked with her for quite some time. And then she also helped organize a move. I've used with organizers to help with moves, which is
Yeah.
so I totally, people are like, oh, it's so expensive. I'm like, no, it actually
No.
saves you money.
Uh-huh. It's
Peop
so worth it. It
People
saves you
don't
so
even
much time and
realize.
money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it just it does. And I've used with organizers for so long. It's amazing. But
Yeah.
wow, that's so beautiful. So I'm just curious, as a kid, did you used to like to organize your little, like Littlest Pet? Well, you're not Littlest Pet Shop, but your
Oh, I love
whatever it was, maybe your
Yeah.
ponies or your dolls. Did you
Yeah. But,
categorize them?
like, my Barbies or, like, my books or, like, my CDs, like yeah, everything
Were
was,
they
like
were
or, like, nail polish.
alphabetized? Yeah.
Uh, not it's more like for me, I like more, like, color coding and stuff like that, but it's really like, obviously, when I go somewhere, it's really what the client likes, or they'll be like, "I don't know," and then I'll just do it, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, this is amazing. I wouldn't have thought of that."
Support for today's episode comes from my secret weapon, Sonia Flores of Blue Chakra Studio. Blue Chakra is a boutique production agency that empowers women to get their voices out of their heads and into the world. Sonia and her team are the engine behind the Lightkeeper's Path. They help me launch, they manage my YouTube, and they handle the tech so I can stay creative. Look, you could DIY your show, but you shouldn't have to wrestle with audio software or waste hours on meticulous editing. I know I don't. With Blue Chakra, you get studio quality sound, a professional strategy, and most importantly, your time back. So you can do what you like to do best, which is podcasting. Whether you're ready to launch, need help staying consistent, or want to rebrand a show on hiatus, Sonia is the partner you need. Go to bluechakrastudio.com or find them on Instagram at Blue Chakra Studio. Tell them Kimberly sent you for a special sponsorship rate. You have a message to share and your audience is waiting. Let Blue Chakra Studio help you reach them.
But it's also, like, when you help someone organize, you're helping them you're coaching them, and you're teaching them, and you're helping them with the process of letting go.
Yeah.
A lot of it is teaching them how to let go and that it's safe to let go
Mm.
and giving them permission, and
Mm.
it's so magical, and, like, another thing I do is, yes, I organize here in the Pacific Northwest, but I also, like, get on a plane, and I travel, and I
Mm.
go to people's houses, and I stay with them for a couple days and help them declutter and organize, and it's such a beautiful service, like
It really is. I was going to ask if you travel to clients.
Mhm. Yep,
Yeah, because both
I
of,
do.
let's see, I had two organizers and they would, well, I mean, one would, she'd, go across to the East Coast and,
Yeah,
they'd take care of her and everything. And she also
yeah.
did, because it was COVID, she would do
Mhm.
virtual.
Yeah.
And I'm just kind of a baby. I need the hand holding. It's like, I
Yeah.
want you in person. I can't do that. But, I don't know.
I I just think the hands-on experience is so much better. It's such a transformation because I
It
know
is.
when I am in person with people as opposed to Zoom, they literally sometimes are like, "I can't physically get rid of this," and I'm like, "Okay, turn around, I got it." Like, sometimes, like, you have to be the one to do it for them,
Yeah.
and have that courage.
Yeah.
Um and then at the end, it's like, "Okay, I'm gonna give you a hug, like, I'm so freaking proud of you," and, like, you can't do that on a Zoom, like, it just it's like, "Oh,"
I know. Our
So
session, how long are your sessions? Like 3 hours? And unless
well
the person like, cause it's actually one of my, I think my first or my second organizer, she'd say, Kim, it's okay. It's okay. It's actually a muscle that you probably know this as being a trainer. It's a muscle that you develop. And
yes.
if it's not innate, or you grew up in chaos, or you grew up in kind of cluttered or
Yeah.
lack, so you're holding on to things, you
Mhm.
have to build up that muscle, right? So,
Yeah.
what is it, like 3 hours your sessions for
So
newbies?
for new people, I, like, ask that they will set between 2 to 4 hours.
Yeah.
So, like, we'll set, like, a 2 to 4-hour window, and then once we hit that 2-hour mark, we're like, "Okay, how are you feeling? Can you push it another hour? Can you push it another hour?" But, like, when I go in person, it can be up to 10 hours in a
Ooh.
day, which sounds wild, but if you think about it, you could easily do 3 to 4 hours in the morning, take like an hour lunch break or
Mm,
2, and then do a little bit more, and then break for dinner and do a little bit more. So there
mhm,
really is, like, if you think of a normal day, there's like 12 to 14 hours in a day. So if you break it up in chunks, it's totally doable, but it's really just giving the client permission and
mm.
listening to them and what they need. Because
Yeah.
also if they need a break and I have energy, I'm like, "Okay, I'm just gonna go clean your bathroom real quick," or I
It's
let me declutter a drawer for you because
wow. Yeah.
for me, it's not for me, I of course, I've built that muscle, and a
Yeah.
lot of it is just, like, figuring out, "Okay, to me, this is trash, and I'm gonna make a pile for you, and you get to decide, is this all trash?" You know?
Mhm. Yeah.
Um,
And it's it's therapy. I mean,
it
you really
is.
hold the space for the
Mhm.
person. It's therapy, and it's exhausting. I remember when I first started
Yeah.
working with one, she's like, "Okay, Kim, you're gonna wanna have a good breakfast." And then,
Mhm.
I'd like have oatmeal or something,
Yeah.
kinda sticky. And then it would be like, we might be 2 or 3 hours in, I'm like, "Okay, I need to take a granola. I need to have a
Mhm.
break," And yeah, she would do
Absolutely.
that. She was like, "Okay, I'm gonna do these drawers. You go out, just take a
Yeah.
break." It's emotional. It really
Oh,
is.
it's literally like I am bringing to your house a life transforming event, an
Mm.
LTE. Like, it's a conference, it's a hands-on, it's intense,
It
like
isn't it can be really intense. In fact, so
yeah,
this is so interesting just to tie back because, the light keeper's path, it's basically finding that inner light when you're in the storm. And I imagine you work with many clients who are in the storm. Somebody's
yes.
passed and they're cleaning up that, or they're sick, or they just haven't done it, or they're in overwhelm. And, like I said, I've used organizers. Excuse me, I've used organizers myself, and it is transformational, and it really does. I mean, it's beautiful when you really think about it, because 'cause you're kinda holding the light for them when they're
Yeah.
totally in that frickin' storm. I
Mhm.
mean, you totally know what I'm talking about. It can be
Absolutely.
really intense, because the people, once they get that muscle and they've got it going, they may have you come just to kinda, "Hey, you can be my workout buddy," but
Yeah.
eventually, I would imagine your goal, because my organizers, their goal was to train you so you can do it on your own.
Yes, exactly. I want my clients to learn to fly on their own.
And you could do a touch point, maybe
Mhm.
once a year. Hey,
Yeah.
let's just kinda do the scary stuff, but
Yeah.
wow, that's such a beautiful gift that you have. That is
Yeah.
just really helps transform
Yeah.
people in
Yeah.
so many ways. It's so awesome. And I had another question for you. You on your
Yeah.
podcast, you talk about, the beach is such a special place for you, and in the
Mhm.
Pacific Northwest, you've gone, and it's cold and it's rocky, and
Yeah.
and and I know what kind of beach you're thinking of. It could either
Oh,
be the tropics or maybe one that's in California that's not necessarily the
yeah.
tropics, but
Yeah.
it's not all rocks. How do you, and I bet at a cellular level, just because of growing up in India, well, those first few formative years of that heat and that warmth,
Mm.
how do you how do you nourish that? Do you just shut your eyes and imagine you have a warm cup of tea, or do you actually go someplace that's warm?
Mm. I think vacationing is so important,
Yeah.
and obviously, if you don't have the financial means, like, obviously, the early years, we didn't,
Mhm.
per se, have the means to always go to the beach or whatever,
Yeah.
um, and so, yeah, the art of visualization is so important of just sitting back and relaxing and just seeing the beach. We this past December, the 5 of us went to Hawaii, and that was
Mm.
beautiful, taking all the pictures so I can, like, look at them on my phone and just enjoy it again and again and again.
Yeah.
Um, and then, honestly, the summertime here in the Pacific Northwest is beautiful. it's not fun stepping on the rocks and stuff like that, but just looking at the water is
Mm.
so pretty and, like, mesmerizing here. So that's nice, but really, I mean, if I can make it to, like, California once a year or Florida or Hawaii, it, like, fills up my cup for the remainder of the year. So
Yeah.
and yes, I love a warm cup of chai tea. I'm always drinking that, I feel like. And I have my, like, heated blanket, and I like my slippers and my robe just to keep my sanity
Well,
during
speaking
the cold
yeah,
months.
speaking of heat, did you I believe you did go back to India, right?
Yeah.
Could you talk a little bit about that? And
Gosh, putting
did you have chai tea there?
yes, it was, delicious.
Okay.
Um so I got to go back to India last February, right around this time.
Wow.
Um, and I can't believe it's already been a year, which that's crazy in itself. And oh my gosh, it was such an amazing experience. So before COVID, I had made a goal that I wanted to raise $10,000 for this trip.
Mm.
And I like wrote this like sponsor letter and I was saving money and like it was that's another podcast I need to, like, write about, but so many people I was blown away about how much support I got from literally, like, random people, and it made me cry so much of people just giving donations because at the end of the trip, we ended up giving $3,000 to the orphanage, um, and we got to see the orphanage and stuff like that at the end of the trip, so I mean, it was just so like, I hadn't been back to India for myself per se in 36 years, and just to see the culture and see the people, it was a 10-day tour. We went with EF Tours. It was me and my friend and, 2 other, like, family friends that came with, and then we joined a tour group. The tour group was small. It was 10 people, I would say, and we just saw, like, all of India. It was amazing, and then at the end of the tour, we flew down to Pune where the orphanage was. We got to see that, and then we flew home. So it was just a whirlwind, and it was just, like we were in this temple this one time, and the music just made me start crying because I was like,
Mm.
heard this music before. It was in my soul, and my,
Mm.
like, soul just wanted to cry in, like, happy tears, and it was just
Mm.
it's like I grew up in a very white culture, being raised in America, um, and to go back to a place that is all you because I feel like growing up, everyone's like, "Oh, you're Indian, like, why don't you have an accent?" Or, "Why this? Why that?" And then to go back to the culture where you're from and see everyone who, like, looks like you, and it's crazy. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I fit in, and this is why I do things, and those mannerism, and now, like, this makes sense." Like, it completed me, and it
Mm.
was so healing and so wonderful. Um and I feel so complete. I'm so glad I took the chance to take this journey, and I'm so freaking proud of myself for, like, doing it.
That's
I
so
just
beautiful. You know, it's I just went to my hometown. It was about oh gosh, it was 2 weeks ago, and they actually call it classic reclamation, which I hadn't heard of. I don't know if you have,
No, what
but
is that
it's
exactly?
basically and it seems like you've done a lot of you've done parts work too, right?
Maybe.
Okay. So it's basically when you've done a lot of deep, deep work, inner
Uh-huh.
child work. I think, have you done,
Yes.
yeah, you've done inner
And
child, right? Yeah.
yeah.
Just listening to your podcast and just listening to you, because you seem like you really, I feel like you really know yourself
Mhm.
and you keep talking about the heart space. And usually, when we do so much deep work, then we're in our heart space because we've accepted all the different parts. So it might have been called something different. But when classic reclamation is where you go back to a place that was so pivotal that
Mm.
most likely had a big event,
Yeah.
and it could be pain. It's usually something like that,
Yeah.
and you go and you revisit it, and it takes a lot of courage.
Yeah.
And it's really, we plan this with like, okay, I'm going to go do it. But in the end, until you're there, you have no freaking idea how intense it is. You have
Yeah.
no idea. I had no idea myself going back to the house
Mhm.
and
Wow. Yeah.
it was beyond deep. And there's other things, but this is all about you, not about me.
Oh,
But
no. Yeah.
classic reclamation is when you go back. I mean, did you go to did you say it was a bus station or a place where you were lost? Did you go back to that?
One second.
Oh, yeah.
I have to plug in my, laptop.
Yeah.
Um, so we did not oh, okay. We did not go to the train
Train
station,
station. Yeah.
where we were found, but we did go to the orphanage, and, oh
Yeah.
god, this is another crazy story. Okay,
Yeah.
so we fly down to Pune, it was late, so we spend the night at the hotel, and then the next morning, we're gonna go see the orphanage. So we get our, like, Uber thing, and we are where we think the orphanage is, but the directions were wrong. So I jump out and I tell like the group I'm with, I'm just like, stay in the car, don't lose the Uber because our phones were like not working well. And so I go in and I'm like, this isn't it. This isn't the right location. I can tell because like all the pictures I had pulled up online, it was just wasn't right. And so then this guy comes and he's on a motorcycle and he stops, he can tell that I'm confused, he can tell that it's, like, the cab driver, like, he's not speaking our language. So the guy on the motorcycle is like, "Where are you trying to go?"
He's an
And
angel. He just came to help you.
yeah,
Oh,
and he, like I was like, "I'm looking for this place," and he pulls it up on the guy's phone, granted, because it's all in a different language,
yeah.
and he says, Go down that way, turn there, do this, and you're gonna be there," to our cab driver, and we were, like, 6 minutes away from it kinda thing, but, like
You never would have found it without him. There's no
yeah,
way. There's no
yeah,
way. No way.
yeah, and then so we get there, and our taxi driver, whatever, parks, and we go in, we get, like, a 2.5 hour tour from, like, assistant director or whatever. And then, like, at the end, I get to sit in the office with her, and she just I didn't even know if she was gonna speak English or not, but her English was great, and she just sits with me, and she's like, "Tell me everything." It was just a one-on-one meeting with me, and she's like, "Tell me everything. Tell me about your life. Was it good?" Like
Oh,
and she was just, like, the most loving
loving.
person, and I'm just, like all I can do is cry, and eventually I, like, talk or whatever, and I just tell her, like, "Well, I'm married and I have kids, and let me show you my pictures on my phone, and this is what I do," and, like, all this stuff, and it was so healing and
Mm.
so transformative, and I didn't know what to expect because, this whole time it's just been correspondence with, "Oh, is this okay?" And then I was like, "Oh my gosh, we have the wrong dates." And because of the time difference and stuff, and I was nervous about that, and then, of course, it all falls into place and it
Yeah.
all, like, worked out, and then at the end, they served us lunch and stuff,
Mm.
and then we had to catch our flight and be on our way kinda thing, but then at the end, we have to get a cab and get back to the hotel. We come out, and the taxi guy had waited in his car for 3 hours for us to drive us back.
So
I was
sweet.
like, "Oh my gosh, yes, we need a ride," you know? So, he got a very, very good tip that day, but, it was just it's just magical.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it sounds so amazing.
Yeah.
Wow, that is thank you for sharing that. So deep. It's so I don't know, but I imagine when you came home, there was the integration of processing everything, and it probably took at least a week, maybe a month. And did you, after that, because you had all the feels, and I'm so like, well, it sounds silly for me to say I'm so proud of for you. I'm so happy for you that you were able to
Yeah.
do that and you had the courage. And I just really want to acknowledge that because it takes so much courage and also to ask for help and to raise $10,000, then give a check of 3,000. That is like beyond, beyond, beyond beautiful. But I'm just, the message that's coming through is I imagine you felt completely whole after that.
Yeah.
The missing piece came in,
Yeah.
and David acknowledged that. But maybe 2 months after you returned, and your kids probably haven't said anything, but they also have noticed.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful. Well, I have to say that you definitely have angels with you all the time. You've probably been told that. And the golden thread is, you know, it's so amazing. You have this inner light when you've been in storm that you didn't even realize that's been lit the whole time. You didn't even have to find it. It's almost like this sounds so I don't even know how to really say it, but you were born in like a holy place that was already lit, and you were picked up and then thrown into the uncertainty, but your light was still on without you even knowing it, and you've just it's so beautiful. I don't even does that make sense at all? Because the
Yes. I
continuity
received
of how much you've manifested when you've been in flow, and you've been in flow more times than not. When I mean, and you're so young. I mean, I think you just had your birthday in September, and I think you said you were 41.
it. Yeah.
And that's amazing because at 41 I wasn't that. I mean, I was a Reiki master, big deal, but I was really sorting things out, and I had a 1-year-old, and
Mm.
it wasn't I hadn't done all this stuff. And so super, super accolades to you, and accolades to sticking it through when there was uncertainty, that storminess of your marriage, but you just
Yeah.
went into that inner light and said, I'm committed. I'm gonna do it. And in the time of the darkness of just saying, I don't know the answer, I don't this, but I'm committed. That's so beautiful. And you were so committed, and you went within that, people don't realize. It seems like it's so counterintuitive, but when we do the work on ourselves,
Yes.
we actually heal not only ourselves, but our spouses, our partners, and our children, and it goes generational. So I say this because, okay, there's that. But Shabana, let's just put it into to perspective here. By you going back and doing that visit, you healed your parents, you healed your siblings, your grandparents, and your children. So it goes back 6 generations in either direction. You're doing your head bob, so I think you know. Maybe you knew intuitively, maybe you already did the
No.
research, but it's amazing. It's really amazing. And so not only you benefit, but all the different generations. And it's so interesting how it comes through because I've seen little peaks myself from my trip, and mine was
Mm.
deep for myself. It was different than yours. It's apples and oranges. We can't compare. But I've had little glimmers of people that I've helped with that healing, and it's so beautiful when that happens, isn't it?
It's it's
It's like
amazing.
it's
It's
like, "Oh my god, it was so worth it." Right?
yeah. Yeah, because it's like when we share these stories, you
Yeah.
don't know who you're encouraging on the other side who's listening,
Yeah.
who's maybe had that desire that, "Oh, maybe I should go to my hometown or
Right.
city or country or
Yeah.
whatever." And the healing that truly does come from exploring your roots and what your DNA is exposed to when you go somewhere else, and just all of it, the sights, the sounds, the smells, the
Mm.
culture, like, there's so much, and it's
Yeah.
amazing, like, it's amazing to know and honor where you come from, and
Absolutely.
that was a part that I realized was missing, and it's like, "Oh, this needs to be fulfilled," and, like
And that's the
yeah,
reclamation. You went back there and
yeah,
you reclaimed it, which is so beautiful, you know? I mean, I'm just curious. So when you came back after, did you
mm.
kind of like, after like a month of integration, did you go, you know what? I'm going to go get that pink blouse. Did you kind of just say, hey, I'm going to put I mean, I love your wallpaper. I always say this.
Yes.
I'm going to put that fun wallpaper on. Did you kind of like say, you did, right? Did you say, I'm going to
Yeah,
just do it? Yeah.
yeah,
I got a feeling.
I just took that freaking ownership of I don't like you told me last time when we had our call, like, I'm a badass,
You
and I
are.
get to own it, and for a lot of my life, I lived from that victim mentality, like, "Oh, I suck because I was left at a train station and my parents didn't want me and I'm such a loser." That, like, whole mind fuck, excuse me,
It's okay.
and then just be like, "Okay, this is something that happened, but I need to stand on my story and be victorious, and what can I create? Who can I become because of the obstacles that have happened in my life?" And to just stand in that power and that truth, because we all have stories, we all have hardships, we all have crap that we've been through, but you don't have to stay stuck in your story, and you can rise above and you can stand on your story and you can just have strength and power and just it's a whole journey, like, we know,
It
like,
is, it is.
to love,
And
to love,
and
to love.
and it, also part of the healing journey is going back to that time and forgiving,
Mhm. Yes.
because at the time we don't know the circumstances, and
Mhm.
maybe it truly was they got lost. It could be.
Yeah.
And maybe they were so young that they didn't know what to do, or they didn't have
Yeah.
enough food, or whatever. And isn't it funny that we choose this soul, our soul chooses this freaking journey?
Yeah.
Sometimes,
Yeah.
you're kind of like, okay, why did I add that and that and that for
Uh,
the lesson? I could have left that
yeah.
off the list, but
Yeah.
it's just so healing when we get to the place where we can forgive the others. And that's really where the true self love
Mhm.
comes into play, right?
Yeah, absolutely, and I think there's been a lot in the past, I would say, past 10 years where I have done the work to forgive my birth parents and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Whatever, like, I don't know. I have no idea what it
What
was, you know?
what the circumstances were.
Yeah,
Yeah. And
um,
they haven't reached out, or no, or no DNA
no,
or
I
anything.
I don't even know their names, and
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently we have, 2 older brothers, and there was a
Oh.
baby at the time.
Oh wow.
There's only, like, bits and pieces. So when we came to America, my adopted dad sat down my brother and was like, "Tell me everything you know," because he knew that his memory would start to fade and wanted us to have whatever we could of our younger years, and he knew, and I guess at that time, I didn't have any memories, or I don't know, but, their dirt floors, grass hut, barking dog, a grandpa lived with us, and then there's a baby, and then me and my brother, and then 2 older brothers. We lived on a farm, grasslands. So it's apparently we had a pet monkey. That's
Oh
like
wow.
one of my favorite details. And that we were at a train station, and our last name is Chand, Chand, apparently. And apparently we're at a train station, and all of a sudden my brother, like, looks around and doesn't see our dad anymore. So
Mm.
whether it was whatever, 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 I am thankful for the police officer that found us. I'm thankful for our lives. I'm thankful for how it all turned out. And I'm I'm freaking proud of us and
Yeah.
all we've created. So
Yeah. You are a badass.
thank you.
You are a badass, you are a warrior, you had that inner light the whole time without even kinda realizing it, which is so, whew, so, so, so amazing. I'm so excited for you. Now the podcast, you started in September,
Yes.
and it's really great. I've listened to it, I love it. And
Thank you.
what spurred you, like I said, listeners, we met in the Kathy Heller world. Was it because of her podcast course, or did you kind of before, or
So, yeah, I've been in Kathy Heller's world for the past 3 years,
Oh,
or 3 or 4 years, I would say, and I never did her podcasting course, but you know how everybody's in that world is doing a podcast or thinking about having a podcast, or has been a guest on a podcast, um, and it's always been something in the back of my mind, and I went to India last year in February, then I came home, and at the end of March, I went to the conference where we had met, and it was from that and having so many breakthroughs that after that conference, I had been invited to speak on a bunch of podcasts,
oh,
and that kinda lit a fire under my butt, and by summertime, I was like, by Christmas, I'm going to launch a podcast and have 10 episodes. That was like my goal or whatever. And then by August, I had done nothing. And then I had hired a coach, and she was offering like a 10-day package to work with her. And so she's like, what do you want to do in these 10 days? What goal do you want to create, accomplish? And I said, I want to make a podcast. So I created my podcast in 6 days. I did my intro and my first episode and my cover art, and I just went for it. And then I have been pretty consistent ever since. It's just audio as opposed to video and audio. And it's just been like more of a passion project and for me to work on my throat chakra and sharing more love and light with the world. And I'm honestly having a really good time with it. And, growing up, I was always that kid that was like, "Don't call on me to read." Like, ugh. I was
Wow,
so
look how far you've come.
I know. I,
That's amazing.
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So that's in a nutshell. It's yeah, it's fun, it's encouraging. I love, I've been dropping 2 episodes a week has
Wow.
been the vibe I've been working on. They're very short episodes, they're fun and light, or they're fun interviews that are longer. But my favorite thing that I'm doing right now is the Manifesting Monday series. So I'm just telling these short, like, manifestation stories that have been throughout my life and stuff like that. And so they drop every Monday. So,
That's
yeah,
wonderful. Well,
yeah.
I want to thank you so much. This has been so amazing. And I just have a quick question. So let's see, we have your organizing business. That's what you're doing right now, and your podcast.
Mhm.
Any other projects going on at all right now or in the foreseeable future that we can look for? Oh, she's got her
Yeah,
eyes. Yep. What is it?
let me tell you. So I absolutely love interviewing people, and so this is a new service that I'm offering, is that basically I will come onto your podcast and interview you, and just know that it's gonna be amazing. It's a 45-minute to a 1-hour interview, and before I'm on your podcast, it's I do a deep dive into all your stuff, and so these are gonna be great questions to really showcase and highlight you to really get yourself more out there. And so just reach out if that's something that interests you. I'm gonna be throwing that also out into the Kathy Heller community and stuff like that. But I love getting to know people, and
Oh,
so I'm
that's
like, this is
great.
a service that I'm gonna start offering. That I
Oh,
am
that's
offering. So
oh, that's wonderful. I love that. So you're going to be doing like curated
yeah.
interviews.
Yep.
So if somebody needs to get their name out there a little bit more,
Mhm.
you'll be offering that service.
Yes. Yep.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Well, I can't wait to see that come out. Thank
I
you so
know.
much. You're so amazing.
Yeah.
This is so fun. I
Thank
love
you.
it. And for all my listeners, we'll have in the show notes where to follow, where to find you. You're on Instagram.
Yep.
And do you have a website or anything else that we can?
Um, yeah, just the best place to follow me is on Instagram. It's Shabana.Knight with a K. And then there I have like my, what is it called? Link tree. And then that has like my
Your
links
different
to my
offerings?
podcast and stuff like that and my different
Yeah.
offerings.
Oh,
So that will all
wonderful.
be there. And I think the most thing is just having more people like listen to the podcast and all that fun stuff.
Sounds
And
good.
send me a message if you want to, because I love that stuff too.
Awesome. Well, thank you again so much. It's been so beautiful as always. You're so fun.
Yes.
Love the wallpaper.
I love it.
I know.
Nice.
So fun.
$17 shower curtain, it's so fun.
All right, warriors, make it a beautiful day. Thank you so
Yes.
much.
Thank you.